Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Balabha Giribharadhari Jaya Gopijana Balabha Giribharadhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Srimad His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishiguru and Shiguranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonon, Chapter 21. The Gopis glorify Krishna's flute, text number 16. Dristva tape braja pashum shaharama gopai Sancharya jantam anubenu mudira jantam Prema pabridha udita kushuma balibhi Shakyur vyadat swabas bapusham buddha atapatram Distva tape braja pashun saharama gopai Sancharyajantam anubenum udirajantam Prema prabridha udita kushuma balibhi Shakyur Vyadat Swapapusham Buddha Atapatram Drishtva Tape Brajapashun Saharama Gopai Sancharya Jantam Anubenum Udira Jantam Prema Prabridha Udita Kushuma Balibhi Sakyur Vyadat Swapapusham Buddha Atapatram. Please chant. Drishtva, seeing, Atape, in the full heat of the sun, Brajapashun, the domestic animals of Braja, Saha, together with Rama Gopai, Lord Balaram and the cowherd boys, Sancharya Jantam, herding together, Anu, repeatedly, Venum, his flute, Udirajantam, loudly playing, Prema, out of love, Pabridha, expanded, Uditaha, rising high, Kushuma Abalibhi, with droplets of water vapor, which are like groups of flowers. Sakyuhu, for his friends, Vyadat, he constructed, Swabhapusha, out of his own body, Ambudha, the cloud, Atapatram, an umbrella. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. In the company of Balaram and the cowherd boys, Lord Krishna is continually vibrating his flute as he heard all the animals of Braja, even under the full heat of the summer sun. Seeing this, the cloud in the sky has expanded himself out of love. He is rising high and constructing out of his own body, with his multitude of flower-like droplets of water, an umbrella for the sake of his friend. Purport. This purport is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Srila Prabhupada stated in his Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, quote, "The scorching heat of the atom sunshine was sometimes intolerable, and therefore the clouds in the sky appear in sympathy above Krishna and Balaram and their boyfriends, while they engage in blowing their flutes. The clouds serve as a soothing umbrella with their heads just over their heads just to make friendship with Krishna." End of quote. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Romapada Swami Iti Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyari Satanine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. The gopis glorifying Krishna's flute and Krishna's flute's influence over not just themselves, not just on all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the cowherd community, but also the animals, the trees, the rivers, and the sky and the clouds. One wonderful thing that we hear in these narrations is that everything in Vrindavan Dham is conscious. It has this particular reciprocation that is imbued with prema, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. We know that in the Acharyas tell us that Sri Vrindavan Dham is an expansion of Lord Balaram. So being a form of Lord Balaram, it is fully spiritual and fully cognizant and complete and full in the manifestation of prema and devotion towards Lord Krishna. So everything in Vrindavan is imbued with the mood of Lord Balaram. So each of the elements that are in the picture, so from the trees, the land, the rivers, the sky, the mountains, everything has this mood. And we're hearing here about the clouds. The clouds in the sky, they're actually cognizant. And they're expressing their devotion and their love for Krishna by serving them, by providing a very nice shade. And also refreshing Krishna with these droplets of, it's like a little moist. So you can imagine in the middle of the heat of the sun, to all of a sudden be nicely covered by like an umbrella that have these little droplets of moist that becomes very refreshing. So it's very pleasant. So they fully um, create this atmosphere that enhances the happiness and the pleasure of Krishna's pastimes with his devotees. So Vrindavan is very wonderful. It is explained that Vrindavan has the shape of a lotus flower, not only because of the beauty of the lotus flower, so Vrindavan is very, very beautiful, but also it has the, the symptoms, the living symptoms of a lotus flower. So you know that the lotus flower can expand and contract like that. So according to the desires of Krishna's pastimes, then Sri Vrindavan Dham expands or contracts. So to facilitate Krishna moving around Vrindavan very fast and timely, Krishna every morning or every evening he goes from Nandagram to Bansivat, and to go from Nandagram to Bansivat in the banks of the Jamuna is like 30 something miles. And it's a long distance. Takes like if you ride from Vrindavan to Nandagram, it's about that. It's about like 40 minutes, an hour or something like that. So, but Krishna goes very fast. Sri Vrindavan Dham also facilitates that for the devotees, for the very qualified devotees. It is explained that Srila Sanatana Goswami every day will do this. It's part of his bhajan, his daily practices, his sadhana. He will go every day and circumambulate Govardhan. And after circumambulated Govardhan, he will go to Gokula to do Madhukari. And then after doing Madhukari in Gokula, he will go back in the evening to Vrindavan to worship Madan Mohan. And this is about 108 kilometers. That translates as something like 60-something, 65, 67 miles. He will walk that every day. But he will do it, he was able to do it very swiftly and fast, daily. So Sri Vrindavan is very beautiful and very wonderful. And the gopis are appreciating just the reaction and the expressions of love that gets arising to the different elements of Sri Vrindavan Dhaman towards the sound, the nectar sound of Krishna's flute. Lord Brahma also was able to witness and come to a full appreciation of Sri Vrindavan Dham and the inhabitants of Vrindavan. We know in the previous pastimes when Lord Brahma in the Brahma Bimohan Lila that he was bewildered by Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. It was so extraordinary that it was very difficult to him to actually being able to understand it. So in order to understand it, he tried to test it. He tried to, okay, this 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 is too inconceivable. So let me see if indeed what is behind Krishna. So he tested Krishna because it was not possible. His worshipful Lord is the supreme personality in Godhead in his majestic form as the Purusha avatar, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And so his worshipper Lord is Lord Mahavishnu, so Vishnu, who is full in his manifestation of opulence and power. And then he sees this beautiful boy playing leaping frogs with his friends. It's like, what is this? This is Lord Vishnu, because there was the understanding among the demigods. But how this is possible? This child, this other, is jumping on the back of Krishna, and and Krishna is carrying him like that. And these innocent boys, playing like children games like that. What is this? So we know that Lord Krishna took away the doubts of Lord Brahma and enlightened him. And Lord Brahma offered these beautiful prayers. So he started with his prayers of glorifying, as acknowledging that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the source of everything. So he realized, Krishna, there he is. He's seeing the beautiful little boy standing under a tree, holding on his hands a lump of yogurt and some fruit salad. Looking around, where are my friends? Waiting for his friends, looking. So he was able to appreciate when he realized Krishna's intimate form. And the most striking thing for Lord Brahma was the fortune of Krishna's associates. First, he started with Krishna's mothers, the cows and the ladies of Vrindavan, Mother Yasoda and the ladies of Vrindavan, who offered their meal to Krishna. And their friends and the cowherd girls, and then the land of Vrindavan. So he realized, like, as he's praising Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, which is in awe and reverence, he is the creator of the universe, the most qualified, intelligent person in the universe. He has this very big responsible service to Krishna in the whole cosmic manifestation. And so he have a relationship of Krishna like that, of servitorship, in awe and reverence. And then appreciating the level of intimacy that Krishna manifests in this land of Vrindavan, that is only possible on the land of Vrindavan. And the fortune of those who are present and who are part of these most intimate pastimes. So not only the cowherd community, the cowherd boys, the cowherd girls, the animals, the trees, the rivers, the whole land, everything Lord Brahma appreciated. We hear that in the narrations of the Brahma Samhita, his realization and his prayers to Lord Krishna. So he started with Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the supreme controller, the source of all sources. So he worshipped him as the Parameshwara, Sarvakarana Karanam. And then he immediately described the land of Vrindavan, Chintamani Prakara Satma Sukalpa Vriksha. That this land of Vrindavan is Chintamani Dham, is a land that is made of Chintamani juice. That every single particle of dust on the land of Vrindavan is a touchstone jewel. Chintamani. And it is full of kalpa vriksha trees and kamadenu cows, wish-fulfilling cows and wish-fulfilling trees. And there is Krishna playing on his flute. Benum kwananta naravinda dalaya taksham. He is playing on his flute and he's dressed very beautiful with peacock feather, with his turban bedecked with peacock feathers and jewels and flowers. And his hue is that of a dark cloud, monsoon cloud. And his beauty is so superlative, supreme, that it completely bewilders Cupid. So his beauty is beyond millions and millions of cupids. Lord Brahma concludes his prayers again describing the land of Vrindavan, Krishna's flute. So this is a theme in this chapter, Krishna's flute and the fortune of the inhabitants of Vrindavan and Sri Vrindavan Dham. Sriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kalpatarabo. So I'm going to read Srila Jiva Goswami's purport on this verse of the Brahma Samhita. The translation is, I worship that transcendental seat known as Swetadweep. Whereas loving consorts, the Lakshmis, in their unalloyed spiritual essence, practice amorous service to the Supreme Lord as their only lover. So, Sri Vrindavan Dham is described as an island, Swetadweep. It's not to be confused with Swetadweep in this, the abode of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. But he is referring to Vrindavan. We hear about it in the explanations of Sri Jiva Goswami. Where every tea is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gems. All water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgent is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, but there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. The realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. Srila Jiva Goswami writes, after having described the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of worship in these two verses, the author described the Lord's transcendental abode. Here, the word Sriya means the beautiful girls of Braja, who are glorified in many mantras and meditation. Of these limitless gopis, there are but one lover, Kanta. In the way are revealed the glories of the Lord's personal associate as well as the glories of Lord Krishna, who is more exalted than all other persons, including his own form as the Supreme Lord Narayan. The world's Kalpatarabo Drumaha refers to certain trees famous for granting all desires. The phrase Bhumis Chintamani Ganamaji means that the land there also grants all desires. If this so, how much more must the Kostuba Jews and other Jews there fulfill all desires? The words Tojan Amritam means that the water there tastes like nectar. How sweet then must the nectar there taste? If the water tastes like nectar, what to speak of nectar itself? The words Bansi Priyasaki means that the sound of Lord Krishna's flute is supremely pleasing to the ear. What more need to be said? What more need be said? Everything there is spiritual and full of bliss. Chit Ananda. The word Yotihi means splendid like the sun, moon, and other luminaries. In the Gautamiya Tantra, the land of Vrindavan is described in this word, Samodita Chandrakritam Chandrarkam. Samodita Chandrarkam. Quote, Vrindavan is glorious like the rising moon or a rising sun. Because it is like an eternal full moon, Goloka is always supremely splendid and glorious. The word Aswadhyam means tasty because it is a manifestation of the Lord's spiritual potencies. The spiritual nature of the Lord's abode is described in this world. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:28-14. Quote, the all supreme merciful the all merciful supreme personality of Godhead Hari revealed to the cowherd men his abode, which is beyond material darkness. The words Srabrati Surabhidya means mean that when they hear the sound of Lord Krishna's flute, the Surabhi cows emit oceans of milk. The phrase Brajati Nahi means that the residents of Goloka are not aware of time. This means that in Goloka, time has neither faults nor disadvantages. This is described in the following words in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9-10. Na chakala vikramaha. Quote, in the personal abode of the Lord there is no predominance of the influence of time. End of quote. The word Sweta means pure and Dvipan means island. In the Gopal Tapani Upanishad it is said, Yatas sarasi padman tishtati tata bhumyan hi tishtati. Quote, As a lotus flower stands in the water, so the land of Vrindavan stands on this earth. End of quote. The phrase beginning with the word Shiti is described in these words of the Harivansa. Yanna vidmo vayam sarve prichattam prichantopi pitamaham. Quote, even after we asked Grandfather Brahma about it, we still could not understand the Lord's abode of Goloka. So the appreciation of Lord Brahma for Goloka Vrindavan is very wonderful. So Lord Brahma is standing, praying to Krishna with tears in his eyes. He bowed down and he prayed to become realizing the exalted position of all the living entities, all the inhabitants, the living entities, and the elements of Vrindavan. He desired to take birth not as someone or even an animal in Vrindavan, but he wanted to take birth in such a way that all the inhabitants, the animals, they actually will do pastimes over his head. It's very often that great devotees, when they actually come in contact, when they experience, when they're able to witness the wonderful realm of Vrindavan and the type of loving exchange, the intimacy of love that is there with Krishna, in great awe, they pray to be, if they can take birth even as a blade of grass in the land of Vrindavan, to take the dust of all the inhabitants over one's head. So Lord Brahma became a hill or a mountain in Vrindavan. So we know when we go to Varsana that Varsana, which is the home of Shrimati Radharani, of King Vrishabhanu, and Kirtida Devi, and Varsana is situated in 4 hills. Each of these 4 hills is the heads of Lord Brahma. So in one hill, there is the palace of King Vrishabhanu, and in another hill, there's the Mandir, and in another hill, there is a temple where the peacock, there's the temple where a blind sage was able to witness. Just recently, previous verses describe the peacocks dancing for Krishna while he's playing his flute. So in this case, Krishna will also, with Srimati Radharani, dance like peacocks, and this sage was able to see that. So that's one of the hills. So there's these 4 mountain peaks, and Krishna and Srimati Radharani perform their pastimes, and all the monkeys and cowherd boys also in that area of Varshana, there is path where the cowherd girls and Srimati Radharani will try to cross. It's a very, very narrow path, which Krishna will stop them and try to get some tax. So all these beautiful pastimes in Lord Brahma accepted that humble position to facilitate being part of Krishna's wonderful pastimes with his devotees, intimate pastimes. So this is the beauty and the greatness of Vrindavan Dham that is inconceivable. Everything here, again, we're seeing the clouds reciprocating with Lord Krishna and being called by Krishna's loud flute melodies, beautiful melodies, and to enhance and facilitate Krishna's loving pastimes. Any comments or questions, devotees? Turn down the most.
Too loud? Hare Krishna. It's better. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just have two short questions. My first question is about Sanat Goswami's sadhana you were describing, how he would do Govardhan Parikrama. And then you mentioned he did something called, he would go to Gokula and do Madhukari. What does that mean?
He begs for food. So you go door to door and then begs for some grains of food.
Every day he would do that. Wow.
So he will collect, it is explained that he will collect some grains and things like that, and then he will go and cook. He will go back to Vrindavan and cook the grains. Sometimes he will make this, he take the chapati dough and make balls of dough and cook it, make this ball of dough, like bread, and then offer to Madan Mohan. And Madan Mohan one time complained that, it's pretty austere. Can you put a little salt at least? I take, it's just a bowl of dough like that. And no ghee, no, okay, but at least a little salt. And then Sanatana Goswami just say, I told you before that I cannot offer very much to you, and you still insisted that you want to be worshipped, so you have to accept. So they have that type of relationship. So if you need some soul, then you're the supreme personality. You can manage. So then, Madan Mohan had a merchant of salt just been right in front of the temple, and the Yamuna got stuck. And then, by the influence of Srila Sanatana Goswami and Krishna's mercy, Krishna's plan, then ended that the merchant was able to free and then sell all his merchandise, sold merchandise, and then with the profit, he constructed the Madan Mohan temple, which is most beautiful temple in Vrindavan. It's very, very beautiful, famous temple. And he has sold. What's next?
Really nice pastime. Just one other question. When you're it seems like you pulled a lot of the Brahma Samhita today, and I think you were reading Jiva Goswami's commentary, and you were reading the famous verse of where every step, every step is a dance. And I was wondering, who wrote the translations for that? Is that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati who wrote those translations, or is that Jiva Goswami's translation? Like who wrote it into English?
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found the text, and then and in the text, basically, there is a Sanskrit. So now that we're getting the translation into English or into, is that's done by the followers of Lord Chaitanya. Not sure, but yeah. Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya found the full text like that. So the text has been commented. I think I can't remember to whom Lord Chaitanya gave the text, but he gave it to some intimate associate. I don't know if it's Swarup Damodar Goswami that he gave the text. I can't remember for sure, but he gave here, here's the text, make copies and then distribute it. So, like that. Well, the translation into English, I don't know. I think possibly Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, because this book that Prabhupada gave us is straight from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta.
Hare Krishna. So I had this is pretty loud. I have a appreciation and a connection. So the appreciation was how you mentioned how Lord Brahma, he manifested his four heads as the four hills in Varsana. And I was appreciating how initially Brahma, so I don't know exactly the background of that pastime or how that came to be, but when you think about the prayers that Lord Brahma was submitting to Krishna after the Brahma Vimohan Lila, where he prays just to be even just one tiny blade of grass, but then Krishna gave him the facility to be 4 full mountains, so that's even bigger than. Of course, everything's on the absolute platform. So whether you're 1 blade of grass or 4 hills, it's all on the same platform. But I was appreciating how there's a Sanskrit name for Krishna. I forget how it goes, but it basically translates into someone who always exceeds the expectations of his devotees. And so I was appreciating how Brahma, his desire was just even to just be a blade of grass, but then he got 4 hills out of that.
And Srimati Radharani's, place.
Yeah, of all places, yeah,
On the top of
Varsana,
that.
yeah. So that was one, and then how you were talking about how everything in Vrindavan, whether it's not just the people, not just the flora and fauna, but then also the natural phenomena that happen in Vrindavan, they're all sentient, fully conscious, living entities that have Krishna prema. So there was something that I pulled up from Shivaram Maharaj's book in the Venu Gita. There's just a couple paragraphs, if it's okay if I can read from it, that kind of tie into that. So, like the exquisite bodily hue of the Prince of Vraja, the clouds of Vrindavan are a deep blackish blue and very pleasing to look at. During the rainy season, they take special pleasure in reminding all the inhabitants of Vrindavan of the beloved son of Nanda Maharaj by covering the sky with his complexion, showering down a nectarian rain of mercy, and manifesting many peacock feather-like rainbows. From their vantage point, the clouds also gain a spectacular vision of Sri Krishna's pastimes, which are shared amongst each other, the Chakravakas and the covered sun. The low rumbling sound heard in the evenings during the month of Shravan are the happy discussion of their recent vision of Govinda. One cloudy evening, the sun set in disappointment at being screened from the view of Sri Krishna's pastimes. To encourage his rising the following morning, some magnanimous clouds narrated a Leela recently seen on the banks of the Yamuna River. A special cloud, which shared many of the characteristics of Shamasundar, began the Krishna Katha that impelled the moon to rise early and secure a place in that august assembly. The peacocks, who were avid admirers of the deep resonance of the cloud's voice,
heard the following being said, quote, Nanda Maharaj had such great love for Sri Krishna that a moment's separation from his baby son caused quivering in his body and torrents of tears in his eyes. While herding the cows, he would hold his infant in his arms and, gazing into his beautiful lotus face, he would be overwhelmed with joy. So one more paragraph. Upon hearing this description of parental love, the clouds billowed in happiness and made many rumbling sounds. This inspired the peacocks to cry to the twilight and the impatient sun to explode in the narrow space between the clouds and the horizon. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. So even like the setting of the sun and the rising of the moon and stuff, and there's like, you know, how even like they can express like disappointment or like happiness about viewing Krishna's pastimes and stuff, and even the sun will like stay up a little bit later in the evening just to hear what the clouds are talking about Krishna's pastimes and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you so much for your attention. Karantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.